Grandma Ladeen, and this is going to be about dating Jerry and like the early years of being married to him, including
Oh my
your
gosh,
children.
that's a long time.
I know. But to start off, tell us the story of how you and Jerry met.
Okay, I remember this well. In high school, we had what was called a study hall. And when we weren't in a particular class, we could actually put it on our schedule. And it was called the study hall, where you could go and read or study, anything but talk. Yeah, we weren't supposed to talk. But Jerry's mother, Jerry had gone with a lot of my girlfriends, but Jerry's mother kept saying, "Why don't you take out Ladeen? You like farming." So that's what she knew about me. I was a farm girl. And that never happened for a long time. I knew him when we were in the band together and in school, same class. But one day, I don't know if someone wasn't there that was supposed to be or what, but she was over the study hall and just regulated it and kept us quiet. And she assigned Jerry to sit with me. There were seats, two together. They put them together. He was in one and I was in the other. And that was towards the end of our senior year. And we started talking, and you know how your grandpa was. And I just liked him so much. So from there on, we started dating. We dated the last part of our senior year. And then he had to go to work out to Montague, helping a man that they knew. And we didn't have a phone. And he couldn't even come home on weekends. In today's world, it's not that far to Montague. But it wasn't for us, so we were actually writing letters. And I was working at Kugler's jewelry store. I got that job right out of high school, and I learned a lot there. And then in the fall came, we both wanted to go to BYU, and we did. And we were still dating and dating. I thought once, he's everything I wanted in a husband that I thought I would get, except he's short. And pretty soon I thought, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We were about the same height. So I'm getting off the subject. So then we got engaged that Christmas. We went back to school, and in March of the second semester, I'd taken a test for a civil service or something when I was in high school. And when they needed someone in the state offices or wherever, they'd look at their girls that had taken that. And I was offered a job at the Employment Security Agency, where they handle the employment and the insurance, etc. And so I decided I ought to come home, because my plan was I would work, Jerry would finish school. So when I got an offer for this good job, I went home. And he did too. He changed to Rick's College while I was working. And then we were married in June. And our first home was pretty humble. It was an apartment over at the grocery store. And we had running water and a basin and a toilet, but we didn't have a tub or a shower. Everyone says, "Well, what did you do?" And I said, I don't remember it very well. I guess we went home to our parents and had our showers. And that's when Terry was born. It's while we lived there. It was crazy. He was interested in science and chemistry, the hard stuff. So I got better grades than he did. But I took the easy stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything like that, but he did well.
So did he graduate with like a nuclear engineer?
Oh no,
What was he?
he was a young family man looking for a job. And I think it was his dad that said, well, they're hiring a lot of people at the site. Why don't you put in your application? So he did. He went to work. I think a high wage was $1.70. No such thing as minimum. But he worked up, learned a lot, did a lot. He was a supervisor when he retired. But those were days where he worked shift work. Days, and then swings, then graveyards. So I was alone a lot with the kids and trying to keep them quiet because their dad was sleeping. And it was hard with meals because he got up and left before the kids got up. Then I had to get another breakfast for the kids. So it was kind of crazy. And they remember being home and me saying, be quiet, your dad's asleep. But he finally got on a straight day shift. But that was when he was a bishop, I think. And it's a good thing. And I couldn't call him. There was no way you could call him and they wouldn't allow you to, well, there were no cell phones. But some days he would be on call. And that, he got to stay home, but he couldn't go anywhere because no phone. He had to stay here where he'd hear the phone ring. But he did his job well and got advanced and learned a lot. Oh, lots. We used to ride horses together, go trail riding. We went skiing, snow skiing and water skiing, mostly with our neighbors, like the one you saw when you were here, and the Brolums. We had a lot of camping trips and vacations. We'd take our little trailer and all the kids. And the destination was usually a fishing spot. but we enjoyed it anyway. It was fun. Yeah, and then we went on 2 cruises. We'd been twice to Hawaii and once to the Panama, and those were exciting times. We were together without other stuff.
That's cool. So you went to Hawaii twice? I didn't know that.
We did. Once was on a tour, and once we just found our own place. And one of the times, all our kids came and spent a week with us. So that was good. Enjoyed it. The oldest was Terry Ann, and she came quite unexpectedly. I was going to work and Jerry was going to go to school, and that worked for a while. And then, my mother tended Terry, and she had Gary, who was 2 years older. So that went well until spring, and then Dad said he needed Mom to help him. And so I looked around for another babysitter, and I even visited one. And I said, no, I can't leave Terry every day with these strangers. So I quit. Now, I don't know if I can remember this right, but I did go back to work at the same place. They gave me maternity leave, which was unusual in those days. And Terry has a large family now and is doing well, and I remember her since she was born, and I just couldn't bear to leave her with a babysitter. But mother had taken care of her, and that was fine. So 2 years later, Danette was born, and we were living in a basement apartment this time, and I hated that because Terry wanted to get out and run around, and Danette was a baby. And here I am in this basement with little tiny windows. I couldn't look out and say, oh, there she is. No fenced yard or anything like that. So that's when we decided to start building a house. But Danette was born before that. And this is a memory that all my kids know. And it wasn't the nicest memory, but it's the one I remember the best. Let's see, Danette was born in the morning. And in the afternoon, we weren't in the hospital, we were on this maternity house that's up the street a ways. He says, well, I took the day off because it was labor induced. So my dad wants me to go fishing, so we're gonna go fishing. And it was our anniversary. It wasn't just her being born, it was our anniversary. I've never gotten over that. But anyway, it worked out.
Sorry, I was like trying to hold back my laugh because I can just picture Grandpa. Okay, bye, Ladeen, we're going fishing.
Yes.
I mean, that's crazy.
And his dad was,
he just had a baby and
he'd been fishing with his dad ever since he was old enough to hold a fishing pole. So, and then the thing that I remember about Rebecca, or Danette, is that one day we went to the doctor's office for some reason with Danette, and we waited and waited and waited. You know how it is. So finally we go back, and she's sitting up in the chair, and she kind of rolls her eyes and said, "Never mind, doctor. I'm all better now." It's like, I've waited long enough, I'm all better. And your grandma, Terry, she said some pretty smart things, but.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Terry was one that quite independent and smart, and she knew how to do a lot of things. But something she did, and I don't remember what it was. I don't remember what she did, but I know I remember what I said and she said. I said, "Terry, how did you figure that out?" And she looked at me and said, "I just figured it out myself." Doesn't that sound like? Okay. So that's Terry and Danette.
Will you tell the story of when your dad found Terry riding her bike?
Oh, yes. When we lived in that basement apartment and I was in the house trying to take care of Danette. Well, she had a tricycle. And one day my dad came back and it was right on State Street. And there was the bank up there at the corner. And I guess she was almost to the bank. I hadn't taught her how to turn around. Just go. So Dad brought her home, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. So when you have babies and they start driving a bike or whatever, be sure you show them the way home. I don't think they know how to turn around.
I just think that's so like Grandma Terry. I'm going to go on a ride. And she
Yeah.
just takes off.
She did.
Okay,
Mom's not watching.
And who's your next kid after Danette?
It was Darren. And he got teased so much by Terry and Danette. I feel like he just kind of picked on him. But he lived through it, learned about girls, and he always had a job. He and his friend Roger raised rabbits because they had a big barn down there where they lived, and they just decided they'd raise some rabbits. Isn't that a funny thing? So he had good friends. He liked to fish and go hike with his dad. That was his favorite thing. He'd say to Jerry, "Dad, can we go wherever tomorrow?" And he says, "If we get the work done on yeah, not on Saturday." We didn't go on Sunday. but if we get the work done around here that we need, yes, we can go. So he was always ready to do whatever. And that's where he learned how to fish and hunt, so he got a good education. And he got good grades in school. He was special because he was the only boy. And your mom, Terry and Danette, used to tease him. They just loved to tease him. But he lived through it. They enjoyed him too.
Okay, and then your next child is who?
Rebecca. Rebecca was so pretty, and she had black, long hair. And she just grew up with it long. But people would see her with me in town or something, and they say, oh, she's so cute, she's so sweet. I could steal her, but she was listening. And so I never had to worry about her getting out of my sight, like going in the store and hiding or something, like other kids, because she was actually afraid someone would steal her. So I didn't like them saying things like that because it got her hanging on me pretty good. But everybody loved Rebecca. She was a pretty baby, a pretty girl, and she probably said some weird things too, but can't recall any right now. Danette and Rebecca both worked at the drugstore. First Danette and then Rebecca. And they always wanted to make their own money. And they did a good job of it. And even Darren and his friend. Darren used to work in a raspberry patch, cleaning it out for people. I mean, he didn't turn anything down, but he wanted to work and have his own money. And Terry used to clean house for a woman. And Jerry liked that. He liked him to have the experience of making some money that was all theirs. Now, my dad, or are you talking about Jerry or my dad?
Sorry, Jerry, yeah.
Okay. He always said, pay your tithing, 10%, and then save 10%. So they got that. They just learned it and did it. But he was particular about what we bought and careful. And I was amazed when we bought this house, built it, because we ended up paying, instead of $60 or $70 a month payment, we now had $100. And I thought, oh, how are we going to pay that? But we did. He was a saver. He believed in saving and paying the tithing. And the rest had to take care of themselves. And we did. We did well.